Hello, and welcome to the Un-American Football Show's weekly prediction episode. As always, we'll be taking a look back at the past week's action, but more importantly, looking forward to week 13. I'm your host, Alan, and with me today we've got Nate and we've got Ross. How are we doing, guys?
Fuck off.
Oh, I'm not going to say fuck off.
Look, the smug, it's already there. The smug face, instantly. It's already
Well,
there.
you didn't need. If you hadn't have said something, I probably could have kept like a professional glaze, or at least tried.
For anyone that doesn't know, Alan's about to run through last week's scores in any second now, and there's a reason he has a gleeful smile on his face and is so chipper this recording.
I've never heard anyone describe anything as a lethal smile before, but I do like it.
I'm amazed, frankly, that the intro wasn't like, "Hi and welcome to the Un-American Football Show. I'm the Don."
Well, unfortunately, the week was tinged with sadness, but we will get onto that as we go through the scores anyway. So, okay, let's just rattle through week 12 and how amazing I did. So, Thursday evening, we had the... Oh, no, it wasn't Thursday. Well, Thursday afternoon, Thanksgiving Day. I don't know why they say Thanksgiving Day, but Thanksgiving Day it was. Bears travelled to Detroit to take on the Lions. It was dreadful. The Bears won 16-14. Nate, you went for the Lions. Nearly won, I guess. Ross and I both went for the Bears. I had a wider margin than you, Ross. Ross, you nailed it. You had a 1-point margin, incredibly close to the score. You predicted 17-16 and it was 16-14, so double points on that one. Nice work. We move on to Thursday evening. We can definitely gloss over this game. Overtime loss for the Cowboys at Jerry World against the Raiders. We all picked the Cowboys, so as I say, we can really gloss over that. No points at all across the board. Thursday evening, I hope this would be a nice, exciting game. It wasn't. The Bills travelled to New Orleans to take on the Saints, and the Saints were dreadful. They lost 31-6 to the Bills. After all this time saying the Bills have sort of struggled the last few weeks, they pulled out the bag here. Ross, through no fault of your own, you backed your own New Orleans Saints. Can't blame you for that. But nil point. And then Nate and I, we both went for the Bills. We didn't actually have a wide enough margin. Nate, you had 14 points, I had 13 points, and it was actually 25 points. So we both get a point. Sunday, 6 p.m, the Titans travelled to New England to take on the Patriots. And Ross, I'm afraid you had the Titans, and they really looking quite depleted and not very good. The Patriots won 36-13. Nate and I didn't have a wide enough margin. We both expected a one-score game, and it was 3 scores. Crazy. The Pats mean business. Sunday, 9:25, we had Minnesota travelling to the West Coast to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Ross and Nate, you both went for the Vikings, and I went for the 49ers. The score I went for was 26-34, which is exactly what the score was. Hit the fanfare. No? Okay. Sunday night football.
Hang on. All right, I suppose you get
We'll be fair. We'll be fair. I think we were gonna treat you with some stonewall silence, but I think
that's fine. It's a competition.
All right, here we go. It's thinking about it. Yay!
Oh, there you go. That'll do. I'm down. Sunday night. Oh my goodness me! This is one of the most depressing games I've watched in a while. We had the Cleveland Browns travelling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Browns not looking up to scratch, losing 10-16, which is brutally low. Ross went for the Browns. I think it's the first time I've actually called a Browns game right this year. The Browns lost, to say. Nate and I both went for the Ravens, but we didn't get the margin. Quite right, we both expected a 2-score game. And then Monday Night Football, another low-scoring game. We had the Seattle Seahawks travelling to the Washington football team. 15 points to 17. Washington won this one. Ross, I'm afraid, again, you went for the Seahawks. You expected a lot from the score as well, to be honest. To be fair, we probably all did, looking at them. Nate and I both got it right with Washington, and I got it within the one score. So I got 2 points there. Lastly, we've got the Fantasy Player of the Week, which actually isn't showing on my screen, but I think from memory, Ross, you went for Nick Chubb, the Cleveland Browns. He didn't do very well. He scored less than 5.
He did not have a trouble.
He did not, no. Not even half Chubb. Nate, you went for Justin Jefferson. He sort of slipped back a few weeks and sort of got a score in the teens. And I went for Debo Samuel, and he did all right. He got over 20 points, left the game injured.
The damage
of the week.
Damage had already been done by that point.
Yes, exactly. Not top scorer of the week of the slate, but he was the top scorer from our pick of the games.
Yeah.
From our pick of the game, so I get a point for that as well. So recapping, lowest upwards. Ross, you had a bit of a horror. He scored 2, which takes your score to 87.
Both points off of the Bears' victory.
Yeah. Goodness me. I hadn't quite realised that. That's true. Nate, you had 4, so you got 4 right, but struggled with the margin.
Yeah.
So you got more than 50%, which is decent. And then basically pumped up by the perfect score. I got 13, taking me to 75. So
when I saw the perfect score, I was laying in bed. I saw the perfect score. I saw the result and I was like, "That's a weird score." I couldn't put my finger on exactly why it was weird, and I was like, and it hit me, and I went, "Oh no!" Switched over to the document to have a look, and there it was. 26-34, and I was like, "You motherfucker!" Honestly, I genuinely couldn't believe. I was like, "This isn't happening."
And there was no points.
Anyone but Alan.
And to be honest, I find it quite hard to track my own score, prediction, as the games are going on. Never mind somebody else's score. So the fact that it took us a whole couple of days just about to realize and click that. I had it first thing that morning. Oh, on the Monday?
I probably wouldn't have realised because I just have the assumption that none of my picks are going to be anywhere near right. If I'm in the ballpark, I sort of vaguely remember.
Thinking about it, I had it that evening. It was like 1 a.m. and I'd woken up and seen it because I fell asleep during the game, and I was like, "Oh, you fucker."
Actually, one of the better games of the week.
It was. It was a really good game. I was just knackered. I don't usually fall asleep during good games.
Oh no, I gave up. I think it got to the fourth quarter, and I thought, I can't stay awake. It's different if it's your own team, but it was an exciting game. But it's late, school night and all that. So the splits and the standings are Nate on 64, myself on 75, and Ross on 87. So 11 points between Nate and myself, and 12 points between myself and Ross. So we're very evenly spread out now. Any comments on any of the games? Any surprises? Any shocks? Any standout performances you want to pick up on?
I don't know. I took a lot of big swings at the plate. Yeah, I took a lot of big swings at the plate. I picked 4 road teams on Sunday and Monday.
The only one you didn't. The only big swing you missed was the Raiders. He didn't take a big swing.
Which I don't mind because none of us saw that coming. But it's the other ones where you guys picked the home teams and then I went with the road team. Obviously that hurts.
It's not the first time we've done that. A few weeks ago, you picked all road teams, didn't you?
I just fancied them. I'm all gut instinct on a lot of these sometimes, and my Chubb betrayed me last week.
I mean, the Raiders played well, to be fair, and the Cowboys defense loved a penalty. So Anthony Brown, 91 yards, 4 third down penalties. Cheers, Tony. Anyway.
No, go on.
I was going to say, we live to fight another day. It's not the end of the season. And, it's what it is. Go on, Ross.
No, I don't know. And then some of them were one-score games as well, so it's not even like they were blowouts for the home team or the other team. It's not like I was way off. But I don't know. We're coming back at it at 13.
I find that quite often we miss when the big ones we miss on are games that you expect it to be close, and then one team goes and blows someone out. Like we usually don't. Like if we expect one team to run the score up, I feel like normally that's where we actually usually land. It's the close games that we expect that aren't. But it was completely the other way this week. We kept predicting bigger margins of victory, and teams were like, "Nah, we'll just take the 2-point margin." Twats.
Yeah, and that's what makes it hard. And you say about blowout games. I don't think anyone necessarily expected the Bengals to blow away the Steelers this past week. Not one from our slate, but still another game that none of us probably would have predicted.
I think I'd have put on a decent score because the Steelers have been better the last couple of weeks, and the Bengals have had a couple of down weeks. But I just really like that matchup for the Bengals. I maybe wouldn't have put it quite so big. I may have gone for like a 2-score game. So it still wouldn't have fucking mattered. I still wouldn't have got anywhere near it. But
exactly.
I don't think I'd have predicted a 40 burger, that's for sure.
Right. Anyway, I mean, talking about the Bengals, we're going to be talking about them for this coming week. So let's get into week 14.
Segue!
Thank you. Unlucky for some. Well, I guess we'll find out this time next week. So Thursday night, we have a tough showdown. This is the first one ever, right?
Yeah.
This needs a soundbite as well.
Tough showdown or something.
So Thursday night we have, or rather Friday morning for us, 1:20 a.m. we have the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Ross's New Orleans Saints. Nate, try and convince me the Cowboys are not going to win this.
Saints bad. Cowboys less bad. The Saints are banged up. The Cowboys less so. Bit of pain on the Cowboys side, but I think they're good enough to steamroll the Saints here. So I've gone for the Cowboys winning 42 points to 10.
Gone for the 40 burger. Well, you haven't convinced me that the Cowboys are not going to win, so I'm going to go with the Cowboys as well. I'm going for 36 points to 24. I think the Cowboys are banged up. They've got no starting defensive ends. Micah Parsons having to play everywhere. We also had a defensive tackle suspended for 2 games for punching someone on Thanksgiving. Marvellous. But CeeDee Lamb will be back. And Amari Cooper could be back if he's actually back on the field. He's not starting any conditioning. I think the Cowboys on offense should have enough. They'd still put up 36 points against the Raiders, who, are not world beaters, but was it 36? Like 30 odd. 33 against the Raiders in regulation. That's a lot of points without the top 2 receivers. So I think they've got to be able to at least score 36 on the road on Thursday night. Ross, how are you feeling about this one?
Well, all the reports suggest ahead of the game on Thursday that our Lord, the Supreme, Taysom Hill, our favourite here on the Tough Show, is going to be getting the starting gig on Thursday night. He's been taking first team reps. Sounds like he's recovered from his injuries over the past few weeks, which means I'm picking the Cowboys. I'm picking the Cowboys to win 28 points to 17. Not just because of Tate. I actually think we upgrade from Trevor Siemian with having Tate under center. If nothing else, because he can run the ball a lot better than Tate. It just offers something a little bit different on the offensive side of the ball. Our defense might slow down Dallas in the first couple of quarters, but I just see them tiring as the game rolls on and them just being too much for us. So 28 points to 17, I'm taking Dallas, and they get back on track.
What could go wrong? We've all picked the Cowboys again.
Worked last week, didn't
Sunday, 6 p.m. Yeah, great. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Sunday, 6 p.m. we have the strange Los Angeles Chargers against the also strange Cincinnati Bengals. Which strange team do you fancy in this one, Ross?
It's such a weird year, and I almost hate picking on form because, as we know, like recently when you've been picking on form in this week-to-week league this year, the surprise always happens, and this might be one of those. But I'm picking the home team in the Cincinnati Bengals to win 31 points to 21. I think their defense has stepped up over the last couple of weeks. They obliterated the Steelers on Sunday. Joe Burrow actually was running the ball fairly well, made a couple of defenders miss and some rushes on Sunday against the Steelers. and I just don't trust the Chargers defense whatsoever at this point. So I just don't feel comfortable picking them. So 31 points to 21, I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm picking the Bengals too. I'm going 28 points to 37. Similar to your point, really. The
Just do your
Chargers
points again.
can't stop anyone. 28 points to 37. The Chargers can't stop anyone, basically, on defence. They've been struggling to get the ball into the hands of the likes of Mike Williams as much as they were early on in the season. Excuse me. They've still got Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen, who I think can engineer points for them, but probably not enough compared to the monster of Chase, Higgins, even Boyd. Mixon's having a great year. So, yeah, I just think the Bengals have too much at home. Nate, clean sweep for the Bengals?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. The Chargers, I don't know. The Chargers are weird. I don't know how to call that team. I like a lot of what Staley's done. I hate a lot of what Staley's done. I don't think they're very good in defence, though. I think they need to step up. Their defence needs to help out more because that offence is pretty good. So 30 points to 24 in favour of the Bengals. I think Burrow and Chase and Mixon who will carry on doing the business.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's move to Sunday, 9:25 p.m. UK time. We have the Baltimore Ravens going to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Both had interesting games this past week. One won an ugly game, one lost a very ugly game. Who do you fancy, Nate?
The Ravens, 21 points to 10. I genuinely don't know what to say about it. Like, I look at that scoreline and I hate it. But I don't trust either of them to really run the score up. I don't trust either of them. Genuinely, I almost would be surprised. In fact, I'm going to change it because I don't think the Steelers are going to score a touchdown. I think they'll get 3 field goals. So I'm going to change it 21 to 9.
Could be all the difference. I hear a perfect pick coming along.
I don't.
I don't trust either team either. I'm going to take the Steelers at home. I think it's a tough place to play. Last week was a proper old-fashioned butt kicking by the Bengals. They've still got things that they can do on offense, the Steelers. The concern for me is whether TJ Watt will be cleared from the COVID protocol by Sunday evening. He has time, I guess, and I'm sort of making the assumption that he is vaccinated. That might be a wild assumption, but he doesn't play for the Dallas Cowboys, so that's probably a fair assumption compared to all my experience with people on COVID lists. So I'm going to take 28 points to 20. And Ross, who you got? Splitting the difference.
Yeah, Nate was saying it's an ugly scoreline he's predicted. You mentioned that they'd both come off ugly games on Sunday. That means this one's going to be, in theory, even uglier. Ravens-Steelers games are always weird. They're always classics in their own way, even if they're ugly. They always come down to the final few drives, it seems. It's crazy for such a historic rivalry that basically all the times they meet up, it's a very, very close game. That said, the Ravens are the better team this year. I'm picking the Ravens to win 19 points to 13 in a one-score game on the road. Ravens are the hot team in the AFC North this year. Or just the team that finds ways to win. And that's what they're going to do on Sunday, in my opinion.
Absolutely. It would be hard for both quarterbacks to be much worse than they were the past weekend. So I'd like to think that we'll be a bit better. Have a better game. But we'll see. Sunday night football. We have the Denver Broncos travelling to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs at 1:20 a.m. Monday morning UK time. Ross, is this as obvious as it seems, or is it a bit sneakiness in there?
A lot of people go back to the Bucs Super Bowl as the blueprint to beat the Chiefs, but the Broncos before that have always kept their games close in the last few years. For whatever reason, even in Mahomes' best seasons, Broncos for some reason keep these games close. So they do that again, but the Chiefs are going to be too much. Again, in my opinion, they they found a way to win games at the moment, a bit like the Ravens. It's not the prettiest all the time. That Raiders win aside, but I'm picking the Chiefs to win 23 points to 17. They might even take the lead and then the Broncos come back late. I don't even necessarily think it's going to be the Chiefs, winning in the last minute or whatever. But I just think Mahomes, the offense, they're just starting to click. And they're going to be too much for the Broncos, who are about as week to week as they come in the NFL at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the Chiefs as well. I'm going to go for a two-scorer, 13 points to 24. As you say, I think the Chiefs are just putting it together a little bit more than they were earlier on in the season. I don't necessarily expect a massive high score because this Denver Broncos defense is pretty decent at times. So, yeah, I think it'll be a competitive game, potentially quite low scoring, but I expect the Chiefs to get the win at home. Nate, are you going for a full house on the Chiefs?
Sorry, mouthful of chocolate. Yes, I am.
What's the chocolate? Maybe we can get sponsorship.
Lint.
Lint. I'm not sure they'll sponsor this show, but carry on.
They won't. But I'm eating Lint and it's delicious. Go and buy some. You bellends. Anyway, the Chiefs, 27 points to 20. I might just copy and paste what Ross said. Like, close-ish score. Chiefs will just be a bit better.
I agree.
That's copyright. That's copyright. You can't take my thoughts. You can't steal them.
Okay. Not what Ross said. But what Ross said.
So we've all gone into the Broncos despite rumours I've been hearing that Javonte Williams cannot be tackled. Shout out to Tom from our Discord community there. Monday Night Football.
I feel like he gets a shout out every week, and it's usually from you, and it's usually derogatory. But
hey, I didn't say that I was being ironic or anything. I'm just saying what I've been heard. He watches the games. Monday Night Football, we have an interesting one. This one gets my juices flowing a little bit. We have the New England Patriots travelling to upstate New York to take on the Buffalo Bills. Could be chilly. It's going to be Tuesday, 1:15 a.m. UK time. Nate.
It will be chilly.
Sorry?
It will be
chilly, yeah. Bills or Patriots? I know how you love the Patriots.
Patriots on a roll. Yeah. And the Bills had a big win against a bad team this week, but they are not necessarily on a roll. So obviously I'm going to give it to the Bills at home at Orchard Park. 20 points to 31. Because they have to. They have to win this one to really stay in the hunt for the divisional title here. So that's why. That literally the only reason why. I almost wanted to just put chuck a scoregami in there for fun because I just don't care. But no, they have to win, and so I'm going to take it seriously. They have to win to the Bills.
Yeah, this is an exciting game. I'm going to take the Patriots on the road, winning 30 points to 24. So just a one scorer. I just think the Patriots are doing an awful lot right, and the Buffalo Bills are using Matt Breida a lot. And that's probably just the argument in itself. Any team that's having too much reliance on Matt Breida has probably got holes in their team. They also lost Tre'Davious White for the rest of the season past weekend, so their defense is not going to be quite as good. They're still going to be really good, but so is this New England Patriots defense. And yeah, again, it's just sort of a random toy box they've got there in New England, but somehow they managed to pull out wins as in the Bill Belichick mold that they have done all those years under Tom Brady. So I'm going to back the Patriots again. Your chance to split the difference again, Ross.
What was just tell me what the score was again.
It was 30 points to 24. Exactly. Go on, Ross. Who are you fancying in this one?
I will split the difference, and I am taking the Buffalo Bills to win 31 points to 7. Big scoreline.
Very big.
Big game. as you mentioned, it's going to be a chilly night, Monday Night Football. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to be better to prepared for that, and are probably a raucous home crowd. Bills have been criticised for not being able to beat good teams this year. They've not played that many, to be fair. They got thumped by the Colts, and the rest of the teams I'm looking at on their schedule.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they don't look anything impressive, and I think I've seen that a lot on social media the past couple of weeks, that the Bills are overhyped, this, that, and the other thing. Who have the Patriots beaten this year? They've beaten a woeful Titans team, a bad Falcons team, a terrible Browns team, a pretty bad Panthers team. We've seen how bad they are now. The Chargers are hit and miss, and the Jets are just awful on this little 6-game winning streak that they're on at the moment. So they can beat bad teams too. I just think the Bills make their statement game here. I think the Patriots at this point, again, as I mentioned last week, a lot of people are hopping on the bandwagon. I just think Buffalo put them in their place. And then the Colts also put the Patriots in their place the following week.
We're on bye week next week, but good effort.
The following week.
The following game. Cool. Well, that wraps up the slate of games. Some ones that seem quite obvious on paper, but definitely some interesting ones. Probably bookending the week, to be honest. Cowboys Saints, Bills Patriots, probably the ones I'm most looking forward to. Let's talk about fantasy. Who do we think is going to be the top point scorer from the 5 games? We did this in reverse order based upon last week's standing. So Ross, you're up first. Who's your first dibs on your fantasy player of the week?
First time I get pick of the litter, I think. I am going to go to the Cincinnati Bengals game. I'm going to be true to my scorelines here and predictions. Jamar Chase hasn't had a good couple of weeks, but I think he has a get back into the run of the Offensive Rookie of the Year kind of game this coming week. Hopefully a couple TDs, over 100 yards, and that'll put me right in the race for the top fantasy scorer.
Great. Nate, who you got?
See, I don't know who to pick between 2 players.
I often have this dilemma.
I'm really struggling. So there might not be 2 players that you'd expect me to pick, but I'm torn between Tony Pollard and Joe Mixon.
You're right. I wouldn't have expected you to pick either of those. That is correct.
I think one of them goes against all you hold true and dear to your heart in terms of fantasy football, and the other one's a cowboy. So it's
Joe Mixon's currently RB2 in fantasy. I'm talking fantasy, which is what this section is all about. Currently RB2 in PPR. Tony Pollard isn't. He's way down, but I just fancy Tony Pollard to have a big week against the Saints. I think Pollard put up 18.1 points, I think, this past week.
Mm-hmm.
Put up a good number. I expect him to probably put up another big-ish number. But then also I've got the Bengals.
There is talk of Zeke sitting,
winning,
but he also did practice fully this week. If that's any help to you at all.
Yeah, no. And another reason is because I know Zeke's carrying an injury and he's bound to be sat at some point.
He didn't play all that much this past week. Tony Pollard didn't get in the end zone, did he? No.
Tony Pollard had the
kickoff
return.
Yeah.
Didn't have the kickoff return.
Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yeah. How can I forget that?
I don't know if that is added into the points and maybe skews his stats a little bit.
Fucking hell. Come back to me.
So I can get dibs over you?
Take it.
Cool, I'll go Mixon.
Unless...
That's who I wanted the whole time. So that is fantastic.
I literally about to say, unless you're about to pick Joe Mixon.
That's unfortunate. Joe Mixon, you've talked him out for me. I think Chargers can't stop anyone on the run. I'm going back to be hurt again by Joe Mixon.
I think that's the equivalent of there was a draft years ago where the Minnesota Vikings were on the clock and he didn't hand in their pick in time, and then 2 other teams bypassed them in the draft and actually got picks in ahead of them. I think that's just the tough show.
Not familiar.
I'll take Tony Pollard.
Good choice. To be honest, I was looking at the list thinking, holy shit.
I'm going to be fucking fuming. I'm going to be fucking fuming if Joe Mixon takes this now. Like, properly steaming.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it thinking I have no idea who I'm going to pick if you do pick Joe Mixon. So I don't feel like I can pick a Cowboy, even though I want to, because I think they've got potential to put out points. But I don't want to jinx my own team, you know. So, and I thought I'd have to jinx one on the Saints, but I was, yeah. Well, there you go. One thing I didn't mention actually in the game earlier, which I don't know if I have any bearing on the actual game, Cowboys Saints. Mike McCarthy is on the COVID list and will not be taking on the charge of the game on Thursday. So Dan Quinn, formerly of the Atlanta Falcons, current defensive coordinator, is in charge for the game. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, really. So I guess we'll find out Thursday evening. Any other comments? Anything to mention before we wrap up, guys?
That's a resounding no.
It is. I thought you were going to say fuck Joe Mixon, but there we go. A polite end. Great. Right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. As always, if you enjoyed the show, drop us a like, click subscribe, or tell your friends about it. Whatever you want to do. Please also check out our other show, our podcast, which can be available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Pods, etc., etc. You can also follow us on Twitter at Tough Show Official, and you can also join our Discord community. Details are below and on our Twitter. Just talk good football with fans from across the world. So thank you for joining us today, and goodbye.